Hi, we've teamed up with UK Auto Claims to see if you could be eligible to score thousands in compensation. If you've had any cars, vans or motorbikes on finance between 2007 and 2021, go to ukautoclaims.co.uk to start your free simple check. Loads of you will have overpaid and payouts could be worth thousands, so you've got to look into it. Hit up the link below and check now for free.
AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that be linked with a transfer move to Arsenal.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. A week into the window nearly now. No business done yet, but it seems to be hotting up and we're all over it here on Transfer Daily. First of all, don't forget to use the code SE50 if you want to do Scout Size. That gives you a 50% discount. 50%, right? Just by watching this show, discount off of Scout Size. So get your videos into them right now. And also they're giving away a PS5 to somebody who sends in their video. If you could be one of those lucky ones, so make sure you get involved with that right now. On the football front, yesterday England played. I'll tell you what a snorefest! A 1-0 win over Andorra. Andorra deployed the low block. England awful, couldn't break it down. There was no Saka in the team. He pulled out injured, and Declan Rice came on just right near the end. But listen, that game was the deadest game. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. Spain versus Portugal. Mico Marino should be figuring in that. But that game last night, you know, let's just take a break from these games. But anyway, on the transfer front, though, it was a bit of a busy day. Yesterday, the big announcement regarding Kepa Arrizabalaga of Chelsea. Actually said it right. David Ornstein broke the news yesterday that Arsenal are in the process of finalising a deal to sign the 30-year-old goalkeeper. They're going to activate his £5 million release clause, and he is about to become an Arsenal player. Now, we did a poll on it the other day, and we were asking you, should we bring in Kepa? And I think, let me see if I can give you, what was it? It was 70% of you said yes, bring Kepa in. It makes perfect sense. £5 million. I know it's another Chelsea signing, right? How many more players are we going to get from Chelsea? But this one makes perfect sense. He had a great season last year at Bournemouth, kept 8 clean sheets. When you look at the statistics around all of the goalkeepers for last season, he was one of the best. I think statistically the 4th best goalkeeper in the Premier League. He hasn't gone back to Bournemouth. They haven't taken up the option to sign him because his wages, Bournemouth just can't handle that sort of wage. And Arsenal became aware of this £5 million release clause, and they're like, whoa, this makes perfect sense. We're not going to get Joan Garcia. He's decided to go to Barcelona. He would have cost as well £25 million. When you can get a guy of Kepa's quality for £5 million, it makes perfect sense. And he knows all about the Premier League. He's been here for a while. He's been on loan at Bournemouth, been at Chelsea, been at Real Madrid on loan. £5 million for once I think still statistically the most expensive goalkeeper of all time for £5 million. It's an absolute no-brainer, and he's going to be coming in to join Arsenal. And I think he'll offer a lot of competition for David Raya. I think they'll, team up very well. They're both Spanish. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer, and it saves Arsenal a lot of money that they can use elsewhere. So, very good bit of business by Andrea Berta and by Arteta in doing this one, and expect that one to possibly be announced this week that he is going to be signing for Arsenal. What about, as we're talking about Spanish players, Martin Zubimendi? Now, should we be getting worried that this deal doesn't get done? All the talk has been that this deal has been nailed down since January, in the January transfer window of this year, that Zubimendi gave assurances that he was coming to Arsenal. Arsenal said they meet the release clause and get this deal done. However, Zubimendi has done this before. He was all set to go to Liverpool and didn't go to Liverpool. Ended up staying at Real Sociedad. Could we be seeing a similar scenario, but with him moving instead to Real Madrid? There were already this week, when he was being asked about, the possibilities of moves and that, he spoke about options. Now, if you're giving you a guarantee to go somewhere, do you speak about options? He also spoke about how he admires Xavi Alonso at Real Madrid. He said he's his idol. And he remembered being coached by him when he was playing for Real Sociedad B. More worrying signs when you saw that. And then you see this report today by Dario SAS. They report that Real Madrid are going to make a final attempt to try and hijack his move to Arsenal, right? Now, should we be getting worried about this? Real Madrid do like him. Real Madrid would like to bring him in. The problems for Real Madrid are, number one, they don't want to pay that £51 million release clause, which Arsenal are willing to pay. However, they may be willing to offer players in exchange for Zubimendi to try to get the deal over the line. Also, they may be attempting to try to persuade Zubimendi to change his mind and to come and join them. As I said, they don't want to pay that release clause. I think the other sticking point for Real Madrid as well is the wages that Zubimendi will demand. Arsenal willing to meet those wages, as I said. That's already been agreed with Arsenal. Would Real Madrid be willing to meet those wages? They already pay out a king's ransom on the wages for some of the players they have, like a Kylian Mbappe. They've just brought in Trent Alexander-Arnold, again on huge wages. Would they be willing to make another big outlay on wages for Zubimendi? So it's going to be interesting. There's been also reports that, Real Madrid also do have an alternative in Joey Veerman of PSV that they may look to sign if they can't get Zubimendi done. But where will Zubimendi end up? Are you confident that Arsenal are going to get this one over the line? Or could there be a hijack on the cards by Real Madrid? When a lot of times when Real Madrid come knocking, it's hard to turn down. I'm going to do a poll on this one today. We've been doing polls all week. I want to do a poll on this one. Will Zubimendi sign for Arsenal? Yes or no? Yes, Zubimendi signs, or no, Zubimendi doesn't sign. We'll collect all of those and we'll give you the result of the poll on tomorrow's show. We did a poll on yesterday's show regarding Gabriel Martinelli. I'm going to tell you about the result of that at the end of this show. But Zubimendi coming. Is he going to sign for Arsenal? Yes or no? We'd love to hear from you. The other one that we have to, as we're talking about defensive midfielders to consider is Thomas Partey. That still hasn't been done yet. He, apparently received his proposal from Arsenal around about 10 days ago, according to reports, and still yet has not put pen to paper, still deciding on that. Arsenal want to keep Thomas Partey. Remember during the week when they put out their list of players that have been released, his name wasn't on it. So that shows that they're still negotiating. But as of right now, he still hasn't agreed to a new deal yet. Should we be getting worried about that one? Is he thinking about alternatives elsewhere? Listen, this is a big deal for him. He's getting on in age right now. This is a real significant contract for him to sign. Is he going to stay at Arsenal, or is he going to leave? Thomas Partey still to make his mind up. Another player who's uncertain, there's lots of uncertainty around today on today's show, is Nico Williams of Athletic Bilbao. Arsenal would love to sign him in that left wing position. But he's starting to look increasingly like he might stay in Spain. Either a move to Barcelona, or he may stay at Athletic Bilbao. Athletic Bilbao, of course, in the Champions League. And, you know, a lot of the talk is flying around is that he may be willing to stay for Athletic Bilbao to play for them in the Champions League. He stayed last year to play for them in the Europa League. He may be prepared to stay for them to play in the Champions League this season. Certainly, with them being the Champions League, they're willing to up his wages to try and keep hold of him. He's got this £51 million release clause, which Arsenal are willing to meet this summer to get the deal done. But again, he's demanding very high wages, starting to look increasingly like he might stay in Spain, and Arsenal will miss out on the player who was their number one target in the last transfer window. He's just refusing to move from Spain at the moment. I mean, the weather is nice over there. What about Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa? I spoke about this one a couple of days ago, and there's still a lot of talk persisting around Morgan Rogers and his links to Arsenal. Watched him play yesterday for England, one of the better players in a really poor performance. The Times claim that Arsenal would be willing to offer a significant fee to buy him from Aston Villa. A really talented player. Remember, Aston Villa only paid £50 million to buy him from Middlesbrough in 2023. He'd be worth significantly more than that right now. The big problem for Aston Villa, and why this is not, you know, completely off the cards, even though he's one of their best players at the moment, is that they didn't make the Champions League, and that's big for them. Not making the Champions League puts them at serious risk of the profit and sustainability rules. They made one of the biggest losses of any club last season and the season before. They're right on the edge of the PSR rules. That's why they're struggling, for instance, to get the Marcus Rashford deal done. And it may be that they're going to have to sell one of these big names to keep them within those spending rules. Not making the Champions League was big for Aston Villa and really does have a big effect on how they spend this summer. So could Arsenal get Morgan Rogers? I'd love to see that. I think he's a really, really talented player. As I said, bought from Middlesbrough for only £15 million. So one to watch throughout this transfer window. On the Benjamin Sesko front, no real big significant updates today, apart from all the talk is still that Arsenal are negotiating a deal to get this over the line. Remember, the transfer window closes again in a couple of days. So it may be that this doesn't get done before that happens and it gets done afterwards. Although, you know, listen, we've seen clubs like Chelsea and Man City making signings before that. However, the reason being is that they're playing in the Club World Cup. So they're trying to get some of these deals in early so that those players can be available for that. But Sesko, no real update on that today. And significant that Andrea Berta, we saw the other day that he got the deal done for Gabriel Magalhaes, that he signed on to a new long-term deal. He's said to be working to secure deals now for Bukayo Saka and William Saliba. Both of them's contracts run out in 2027. You'll be thinking, well, what's the problem? We're only in 2025. When you got players of that caliber, you want to get those deals done early. You don't want contracts running into the last year like what we had or like what we've seen with Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool, and then all of a sudden his head can get turned elsewhere. So he's working on the contracts now of Saka and William Saliba to try and get long-term deals done for them. He's also working on contracts for Mars Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, contracts that will reflect their current status in the first team squad. So listen, they'll probably both of them be on really, really low wages. They'll get new deals with their wages significantly risen to reflect their status in that first team. So good luck to them. On the Martinelli poll that we did yesterday, should we keep or sell Gabriel Martinelli? Of course, as I said, AC Milan showing an interest in Martinelli should they lose Rafa Leao, and that's possible. Bayern Munich very interested in signing him. But 74% of you said no, don't sell him, let's keep Martinelli. So very popular with you guys out there. You want to keep Martinelli. 70-40% of you said keep him. 26% said sell. I'm also going to do the Rumour Rater today. Let's do it on Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa to Arsenal. As you can see there, I'm making it sort of just under a sort of mid rumour. Possible, but a lot of things would have to happen for this, would have to fall into place. It's one of those, but can't rule it out. Can't rule it out. Although Villa wouldn't want to sell him, but you can't rule it out. And I'm sure if Arsenal did go in seriously for him, he'd be interested in the move. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with that. Well, listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow. And, of course, we keep you up to date with any breaking news around Arsenal here on AFTV. So keep it locked here. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Are you a talented footballer with the potential to go all of the way, but you've never been spotted or had a trial? Well, all you need to do is check out a brand new innovative business that I've started with my partners called Scout Size. It gives you a chance to get spotted by our network of scouts to try and get you a trial at a professional club. Scout Size places you in front of a professional scout who will assess your talent. You simply need to visit our website right now and upload your clips as directed. Our scouts will then view them and give you a full assessment. If you meet a certain criteria, your details will be sent to scouts at professional football clubs for them to come and see you play. It's as simple as that. So visit scoutsize.com right now and send in your clips, and a scout could be coming to watch you play at your next game.